of Pampering by LJ, and today I want to take you along as I cook one of our favorites, the pepperoni pizza that has the cauliflower crust. So I've been pretty much making it every week for James and I to have, and we really enjoy our pizza nights. So I feel like I've got the recipe perfected. We're loving it so much that I just wanted to make it for you. So I will be following a recipe that I got online from Optavia, and it will be a complete lean and green. So 1 lean, 3 green, and 3 condiments for this recipe. And I take the recipe and I make an individual pizza for James and then another one for myself because I like how it makes it pretty crispy around the outside of the crust. When I take the recipe that's made for 1 large pizza and split it in half for 2 people. So come along with me today as I cook for you. First step is we need to start preheating the oven to 425 degrees. My next step is to rice some cauliflower, and I've used frozen cauliflower before, but I had some fresh to use up, and so I just riced it in my little food processor. And I need for this recipe 200 grams, which is 2 cups of raw riced cauliflower. So I'm doing that right now. I've got 150 grams right here, so I'm going to do another 50 grams. And then into this bowl it will go. Okay, in my bowl I have placed 200 grams of the riced cauliflower, and I'm simply going to put this in the microwave for 10 minutes. I'll stir it halfway through, and that will steam and cook the cauliflower. When I did this before with frozen riced cauliflower that I bought at the grocery store, I did it the exact same way. Just happened to have some fresh that was going to go bad, so I'm using that tonight. This has been in the microwave for 5 minutes, so I'm just taking it out and stirring it up, and it's going to go back in for 5 more minutes in the microwave. And while I was waiting, I went ahead and prepared the ingredients that will actually go in the crust, which is 1/3 cup of the shredded mozzarella. And I weighed this out, and that weighs in like at almost 35 grams of mozzarella cheese. And then we have 1/4 cup of grated parmesan, which is about 30 grams. So I weighed those out. And then it calls for 1 egg. I'll use 1/4 cup of egg beaters for the next step. Okay, that is finished with being in the microwave. And definitely it has taken a lot of the wetness out of the cauliflower and also cooked it to really soft. So to that, I am going to add 1/2 teaspoon of my Italian seasoning. And 1/8 teaspoon of salt. The mozzarella, the parmesan. Give that a stir. And then I'm also going to add the egg mixture in with this, and this will make a dough. This is the amount of dough that it makes, and this makes 1 large crust, but I'm going to break it into 2 smaller crusts. I have 2 cookie sheets that I have centrally lined with my parchment paper. Now, the first time I made a cauliflower crust, probably 5-6 years ago, when they said parchment paper, I didn't know that there was a difference between wax paper and parchment paper. And the first time that I did this, I used a wax paper, which does not work. It burns wax paper and everything sticks to it. You have to use parchment paper. That's the trick to making your crust not stick. So I have divided my dough up into 2 equal portions because I'm going to make 2 pizzas. And so I'm simply going to take this dough here and I'm going to flatten it out and make it into a thin pizza circle. Just sliding my pizza sheets into the oven, 425 degrees. Shut the oven and I'm going to bake them. Okay, time for my pizza crust to come out of the oven and be flipped. So they have been in there for 15 minutes and you can see they're nice and golden brown on this side and the edges are starting to turn pretty dark, and that's how we like them. So you need to let them cool off for just a second before you flip them, but I get impatient so I'll probably just do it. It's pretty easy with this size, you can see. Just gonna flip it. Now, I'm gonna put them back in the oven for 10 more minutes. This is a little video to split into my making the pizza. So when I made pizza last week and I took it out of the oven after 15 minutes and flipped it, I put it back in for 10 minutes and it got way too dark. Didn't like that. So tonight I'm making it again, and the last 2 little clips that I'm gonna put in here are actually of a different pizza. So this time, the first time that I take it out of the oven will be after 10 minutes, not 15. I will flip it and then I'll cook it 10 more. I really think that pizza crust is best cooked in the oven for 20 total minutes, then top it, and then do 7 minutes more just to get the toppings nice and melty. So right now I am going to be making my other pizza, and then I'm going to insert a couple more clips of the last 2 which I had planned for last week. Here you go, enjoy. This pizza is fabulous. Okay, this is my next night of doing the pizza crust again, and this time I used frozen cauliflower rice instead of fresh, and it really made a difference in the amount of minutes that I needed to cook the crust. So right now, this was the first cooking of this crust, and this time I had to do 17 minutes to get it to look like this. Now I'm gonna flip it and put it back in, and I think it's just gonna take longer because of the frozen cauliflower rice. It had more moisture in it, I noticed, than when I cooked it out of the microwave. So anyway, done. I was really checking it after 10 minutes, 15, then I settled on 17 for the first round on this one. And now I'm gonna flip it and then put it back in the oven. I topped it with that extra piece of parchment paper because it looked like it was gonna kind of fall apart a little bit tonight if I did it the way I did it the other night. And again, I just think it has more water in it from the frozen. Okay, I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to check it after 5 minutes and then check it after 10 minutes, and then if it needs longer, I'll let you know that too. Okay, so 5 minutes on the other side was all it took. So again, you're almost cooking this crust. I cooked it over a little bit over 20 minutes total before I put any toppings on it. So I'm putting 1/4 cup of marinara on each one. And then I've measured out 1/2 cup of the mozzarella cheese. And I took 6 turkey pepperoni and I cut them into quarters. So there's little pieces like this. Spread these around. And then after I get this all on there, I will pop these back in the oven for 7 more minutes. That will melt all the cheese, get the pepperoni hot, as well as the marinara.